Hi, everyone. Jasmine here. Thanks so much for showing up for the August blogging Q&A. So, quick introduction. Hi, my name is Jasmine. I have two blogs. One is called Blogging Money Life, where I talk about moving from the United States to Costa Rica, as well as giving blogging tips, which many of you are joining from the YouTube channel today, our YouTube channel. And then I have a second blog called Miss Millennium Magazine that I've had for over a decade now, which is how I got into blogging. I love doing these Q&As because it gives me an opportunity to talk to other bloggers and really just talk about some things that are on my mind from a blogging perspective and answer any questions that you guys may have when it comes to blogging. I always come with a topic. So I do have a topic to discuss today in regard to blogging that I'll be talking about in between questions. So I see that there are a few questions that came in a few minutes before the meeting. I'm going to start with those and then make my way over to my topic for today. So let's see here. Marlene says, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. You're not going to believe it, but my Pinterest is booming. Yay! Awesome job, Marlene. I know you've been working towards it for some time, and Pinterest is one of those things that we've talked about in the past. So I'm glad to hear it's booming. With my current post, and then with the holidays coming up, I should easily be able to qualify for Mediavine and definitely journey before the year is out. Wow, that is awesome. It's so crazy, but my Pinterest is growing by crazy amounts by the day. Highly, highly recommend Carly's course. It's the best course I've ever taken, and I've taken several. Most were a waste of money. Wow. Yeah, I've heard great things about Carly's course, so I'm glad to hear that. And I haven't taken it yet. So excited about my blog and Pinterest. Thank you, Pinterest. Wow. Thanks so much for sharing that story, Lurleen. I know you've been working at it, and I'm so glad to hear that Pinterest is taking off for you. Now is definitely the time to get on Pinterest and learn some of those skills. I'm actually getting ready for a trip, so maybe that's one of the things that I'll work on in my spare time when I'm in the airport and on the plane, like going through Carly's course, because I've heard just some wonderful things about it. So thanks so much for sharing your story there. I see I have another message here from my husband. How do you get such a nice office? This is just, if you guys haven't noticed, my office is a little bit different than usual. I had some of my bookshelves come off and I have more room to just put things in there without the covers. And that's because my husband updated my office for me. He painted the walls. Here, let me just see if you can see it. Yep. So walls are painted, not that ugly green color anymore. And honestly, it's just nice to be in here. So thank you, Chris. Okay. And Lurleen says, thank you too. Great. I'm very happy for you, Lurleen. It's been tough lately. And in regard to a lot of bloggers for traffic because of all the Google changes and everything. So it's nice to hear that you're seeing such a boom in traffic that you're able to qualify for Mediavine. So, so glad to hear that. I'm glad to start the meeting off with that awesome news. I love this conversation. Lily says, love your office. That was so nice of him. Oh, he also wants me to mention that I've added lights too. So yeah, I have extra lights. So it's a little bit more bright. A little more bright in my office, which is nice. It makes it easier for you guys to see me when we do our monthly chats. So thanks so much. Really says, yes, it's been like 3 years to me. I'm glad to finally hit toward Mediavine. That is huge. Yeah, when you get to Mediavine, I feel like everything changes because now you're at a point with your blog where you can count on money every month. So great job. Great job. It really does pay off. And I think it's even more inspiring to hear that, Lurleen, considering that I know a lot of people, there's a Google update happening right now. And I'm seeing just from my various blogging communities that I'm in, that it's impacting a lot of people at this moment. So to see that you're still getting a good chunk of traffic from Pinterest is just huge, 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 huge. So keep it up, keep it up. Oh, it's perfect for your blogging and even the lives. Yes, it is. I spend a lot of time here. I know I've mentioned this in the past, but I work full time and I work on my blog part time. So I'm typically working on blog stuff in my office in the evenings. And this is when I do my lives as well. So yeah, having the extra light is definitely helpful. Making sure that I can see everything and it's comfortable, and yeah, just it's a good feel altogether. So I really asked a question. So the update is worse than the last one. I can't say if it's worse, because what I've heard is that it really depends on what your niche is. And I feel like we usually have to get through the full update before we know who was impacted the most. And usually I hear this information from Mediavine. They're usually pretty on top of things, even if you're not on Mediavine yet. Like, they are really good about getting blogging news out there. So yeah, I usually have to hear from one of the authorities on who was impacted the most, and then I have a better feel on how bad it was. But I know I'm hearing some negative things already from various people for this recent update. So one thing I wanted to talk about today in regard to blogging is taking some time off. So this week I'm actually getting ready to go on vacation. I'm going to be gone for a little over a week, and I'll have internet access, but I don't intend on working on my blog during that time. So what I wanted to do today is talk to you guys about what are some of the things that you want to be mindful of if you're taking any type of time off of your blog, things that I think should be prioritized, so that you don't have to worry about it. You can take a little time and just be happy with the fact that you're taking a break from your blog. Taking a break is so important, because I find that I do get a little burnt out from time to time when it comes to blogging, just because it can be so intense, especially if you're doing a lot of the things on your own. So being able to take a break is pretty important, but also you don't want everything to come to a screeching halt when you're not there. So I think that's pretty important too, making sure that things are still running even when you're going to take some time off. So what I wanted to talk about today are some of the things that I've already put in place on my blog, so that I can take some time off, I can relax, and not have to worry about everything crashing and burning while I'm away. So there's a few tools that I wanted to share with you guys that I'm currently using. And I'm going to talk about those in regard to some of the most important things that will have that you want to do for your blog to make sure you're ready for your trip. So first things first, I always talk about consistency. That is one of the most important things you can have with your blog. And that means consistency when it comes to new content that's going out. That means on your website and also on social media. Now, luckily, we live in a time where most things can be automated. So when it comes to your blog posts, you want to make sure that you can get ahead if you can. I love starting with my blog posts in RankIQ. And because I usually get my keywords on the first of the month, because you get a certain number of reports in RankIQ every month. I get those, I find my keywords, and then I go outline, write the blog post. So at any given time, I always have content ready. It may not be ready because it still needs to be optimized and formatted properly. I need to create social media images for it, but I have content that's like 80% of the way there. So I think one of the first things you want to do is schedule your content ahead of time. If you're going to be gone for 2 weeks, it may be good to go ahead and schedule articles for 3 weeks, so that when you come back, you don't have to jump immediately in and do things with your blog. So whenever you're saving your content in WordPress, you have the ability to hit publish, but you also have the ability to schedule. So you want to make sure that you pick a date that you want your content to go up, hit schedule, and you are good to go. This is probably one of the most important things to do when it comes to taking some time off. So that's what I typically do. I schedule my blog posts. And I also, so first, before I do that, I want to share Rank IQ with you guys because I mentioned that that's one of the tools I use. And of course, this is the one I don't have up and ready to go. I'm fooling around. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Rank IQ is one of my favorite SEO tools to use. It gives you an idea of keywords that you can rank for. And what's nice about it, here we go. What's nice about Rank IQ is that they give you keywords that you can rank for, and they give you a time frame for when you can expect to rank for them. So ultra fast is usually in a couple of weeks. Fast, I think it's like in a month. And I can't remember all the time frames for when they're done, but that's where I started writing all of my content in Rank IQ. So I mentioned that. And then the other thing I mentioned is scheduling your content in WordPress. So scheduling your blog posts in WordPress. But the other thing that you want to be mindful of when it comes to just being prepared before you go on vacation is your social media. So what I do is I schedule my social media out. So let's say, for example, if I'm going to publish a blog post on a Monday, I want to schedule my social media to go out on Tuesday or Wednesday, sometime after the article was published, so that that content is being shared in my various social channels. So what I do in that case is I use a social media sharing tool. So the tool I use is SocialBee. Here's my affiliate link if you want to check it out. And what's great about SocialBee is that it's a social media sharing tool. I use it for Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. You can use it for YouTube. I think you can use it for TikTok as well. And what's great about SocialBee is that it saves your content. So I'll go ahead and create social media content for a certain blog post and say, I want to schedule for this day. And then I can say to put it into my folder for content and for like old blog content. And then it shares the rest of my content on a rotation. So that article is going to be shared on social media again once it gets to the top of the line again for my content that's being shared on a regular basis. So that's what I love about SocialBee, because I'll always have content going up, even if I don't have any new content going out, because it's sharing my old articles. So I love that about SocialBee. I can schedule my content ahead of time. And one of the best parts about it is it's affordable. I first learned about SocialBee because I was using a tool called MeetEdgar, which at that time, that was the only tool that did what I just mentioned to you, where it saves your social media posts. So it just keeps resharing it in a rotation. And MeetEdgar was excellent, like really good user interface, easy to use. And then it was a pretty reliable tool, but it was expensive. It was so expensive using MeetEdgar. And SocialBee was a fraction of the cost. Actually, I got SocialBee on AppSumo, which if you're not using AppSumo or like on that site regularly just to see what type of deals they have, you are missing out. So if you've never heard of AppSumo, it's like a database for new type of tools for bloggers, I would say. And what AppSumo does is they have new tools and they're giving you a discount on those tools for being one of the new people to use it. But what's really cool about AppSumo is that they have a lot of lifetime deals. So, you know, you'll be the first to use a certain tool, but what's great is like you pay once and you never pay again for it. And that's hard to come by when it comes to different tools. But anyway, I bring up AppSumo because in this case, because that's where I found SocialBee. I think I paid like $50 for SocialBee for a lifetime membership. And that was, I don't know, 5 years ago now. So I have a social media sharing tool that I don't pay for anymore. So that's the benefit of AppSumo. They always have lifetime deals. So you always kind of just got to keep an eye on it to see if there's anything that you can replace that you're using right now. Eventually you can get to a point where All your tools, you have a lifetime deal on them. You don't have to worry about paying for certain tools anymore. So definitely see. Yeah, it's a great place where you can find some affordable tools. So, so far what I've talked about in regard to like preparing to take some time off from your blog, scheduling your blog posts, scheduling social media using some tool of some kind. And I mentioned the tool I use as well as the platform where I found the tool, and it's pretty affordable. If you can ever find like a lifetime price for a tool, I highly recommend jumping on it, especially if it's something that you need. There's only one other tool I use that has a lifetime price, and that's ThriveCart. So if you have any type of product where you need to sell it and get paid through PayPal or with, oh crap, what's the other one called? I can't remember what the other one's called. But if you're ever selling a product, ThriveCart. Forget about Teachable, forget about Thinkific, go to ThriveCart. They do all the same things. They didn't used to be an LMS, they used to be just a cart, but they recently changed to an LMS as well. So I'm seeing a lot of bloggers that I follow are switching to ThriveCart from Thinkific and from Teachable. So really affordable option. You pay once, so you don't pay again. So yeah, if you ever come across those type of tools, highly recommend jumping on it and not looking back, because nothing is better than that than paying once and never have to pay again. All right, so I talked about scheduling things. The other thing that you want to be mindful of is making sure that someone has eyeballs on your website when you're away. So I mentioned that I have internet available to where I'm going, but there may be some times where you don't have internet available and you really need your site to just stay up. I've had situations where like I'm away from my site and I get like someone trying to hack it in my absence, or where my site just went down because it just got a flux of traffic out of nowhere. And I can only imagine that happening while I'm away and no one's watching it. So I don't know, and I can't go fix it because I probably don't have internet. So you don't want to have a situation like that whatsoever. So what I recommend in that case is hiring someone on Fiverr. So I have my affiliate link for Fiverr. There are lots of people on Fiverr who will do a blog management service. And you can go on Fiverr. I honestly wish that this existed before, because I swear I looked for this a few years back and like nothing came up for this in Fiverr when I searched for it before. But when you're on Fiverr, look up blog management. And what these people do, it really depends on who it is, but some people will do like SEO. They'll look after your site from a technical perspective. So if anything goes down, they'll make sure that they can jump in and fix it if something happens. You can do this on a monthly basis, weekly basis, whatever. If you're going to be on for a week, you can hire someone pretty affordably too. The prices vary, but you can get someone that's pretty affordable to look after your site for you in your absence. And that's if anything breaks or goes down or whatever. I also think there's a benefit to having someone like this around, because one of the things I feel like bloggers don't talk about enough is how important it is to fix errors on your website. So if you've ever used SEMrush, it's an excellent tool. I highly recommend it. I have the link for my SEMrush tool here. You can do the free version of SEMrush and do a site audit, and it will tell you some of the errors you have on your site. And if you have errors, you need to go in there and fix those things, because that is making an impact on how Google sees your website. So the reason why I look for website management is because it is a constant battle, especially the bigger your site gets. The more you have to battle the errors. And when I say errors, I mean like broken links, missing pages, broken URLs. There's so many things that can break, even if you don't touch it. Even if you're not doing things on your website, things change. So like some of the regular things that I do on my site is I have to go in and update all my affiliate links when something's not in stock anymore or something doesn't exist anymore. That's something I'm doing on a regular basis, and you can hire someone to do that for you. The same thing goes with your speed. I look to make sure that I have a passing what do you call it? Core Web Vitals score for Google. I have to check on this at least every 6 months, because I guarantee you 6 months later, even if I have a 100% score, 6 months later, I don't have it anymore. And I have to go to a developer so that they can get me a passing score for Core Web Vitals. And I'm sure you all know that Core Web Vitals is important so that you continue to get organic traffic to your website. So changing, like fixing things like that, any type of weird things that come up, because if you are down adding plugins to your website, it can mess with the stability of your site. All it takes is one plugin that doesn't get along with another plugin that's already on your website, and everything breaks. And sometimes it's not exactly clear why everything's breaking, because it may not really look like it's even related to the two plugins that are there that don't get along. One, it's important to make sure you're aware of what problems you're seeing on your site. Using a tool like SEMrush, like I said, you can use the free version to see some of the errors, I think up to 100 pages. If you have a massive site, I highly recommend just buying the paid version, because I have over, I don't know, 3,000 pages on my blog at this point. So the little 100 pages that SEMrush looks at for free ain't cutting it at this point, which is why I'm so focused on making sure that I keep that tool. I'm looking at what's being updated, what needs to be changed, and what errors are still there. So having someone, I say all this in context of having someone look after your site while you're gone, because anything can happen, anything can change. But if you have the funds to be able to look into someone to manage your website for you just on a regular basis, when it comes to just the tech piece of it, I highly recommend doing it. I've been doing this for years now. I've gone through a few different services, and now I have someone who I'm working with on Fiverr who does a really good job. But it's just one of those things you want to make sure you're keeping track of. And it helps when you're not there, because if something breaks, they're there to jump in and fix things. So what have I talked about so far? When you're getting ready to leave and not work on your blog for a week, you want to make sure that you're scheduling out blog posts so that you have content being published on a regular basis. You want to make sure that you're scheduling out your social media using some type of social media scheduler ahead of time. I personally use Social Bee, which has been a big help for me. You want to make sure that you have someone who's looking out for your site in case things break while you're away. And I recommended going to Fiverr and looking up someone. Just search for website management, and you can find someone who can do like SEO things or just technical things, or they're keeping an eye on your blog. So that's important too. And I highly recommend going through some type of website management. If you're looking for a specific recommendation, I know a great guy. So yeah, just send me a message. You can email me at editors@missmillmag.com. Here, I give you guys the link so you have it. But you can email me, and I'll give you the link to my guy who is pretty good when it comes to managing your website, keeping an eye on SEO, and then overall just looking for opportunities for growth. So let me give you guys this. Me if you want a link to my favorite website manager. There we go. So there you go. I just gave you guys a little link here. That's my email address, and I'll happily give you the link to my guy, because he's very good. He's very organized, and he's always keeping an eye on my site to make sure that everything is as it should be. So yeah, website management, I think that part's important. And it's not necessary, of course, if you're going to keep an eye on your blog. I say checking it at least once a day just to make sure everything's up and running. Nothing seems like crazy. But if not, then hiring someone to look at it for you. Additionally, too, if you have a friend who also blogs, you can just reach out to them and say, hey, can you keep an eye on my blog? Just check it once a day. And if something breaks, just log in and see if you can fix it. But if it's someone who doesn't know your site that well, I feel like that can also cause more harm than good if they get in and start clicking around and doing stuff and they don't know what they're doing. So it could just be an affordable option to go with a website manager to help you in that regard. Okay, so we talked about a few things so far in regard to getting ready for your trip. As a reminder, if you have any questions for me, feel free to post them in the comments and I'm happy to answer them so that, you can get your questions answered. Now, of course, I don't think I said this in the beginning, but I should say it now. Your questions do not have to be relative to the things that I'm talking about today. I'm talking about technical things and things that you should do to your website before you go on a vacation. But I mean, if you want to ask me questions about like how you create images or different strategies for traffic or whatever, I'm happy to answer those questions too. So if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to post them in the chat and I will answer them live while we're here. So yes, definitely go in and do that. I think that'll be helpful. Okay, so what else do you need to do? So you already scheduled your blog post. You already scheduled your social media. You got someone who's going to look after your blog while you're gone. The other thing you want to make sure that you have ready to go is your email. So I don't know about you, but I send out quite a few sponsorship pitches in my email account. And that means I am almost always waiting to hear back from a brand for sponsorship. So you want to make sure that someone is keeping an eye on your email account. I have someone who looks after my email, but I feel the same way about this as I said about having a website manager. If you're going to have access to internet, then you can check your emails every day because you never know what's going to come in and you don't want to miss an opportunity because you're too late responding. So either have someone that who can look after your email while you're away and who knows how to respond for you, or keep an eye on your email inbox. Now, if you've never hired anyone to manage your email for you, I have a few tips on things you can do to make sure that they're successful. I personally like using email templates that make it easy. So when people email me in with spam, she has a response to send to them so that it says, stop bothering us to the spam. I have different folders that she can put things in if it's something that I specifically have to answer. Typically, if it's a question from one of our I guess any students who are taking our courses or people who have specific questions for me, she'll forward those to my folder so I know to answer those questions. And then when there are sponsorship opportunities or people are replying back to a sponsorship that we had, or there's outreach for people who want us to join the affiliate program, or they want us to do a sponsored blog post for them or some type of partnership, she has templates for that too. So I think that's one way to help incentivize them or to help them be successful in that role. And then, of course, it's good for them to understand your brand. My email manager, she has access to our media kits. So when people ask about our prices, she always has the most updated media kit that she can send to different brands who want to work with us. She understands our avatar. So we have an avatar that we have written out in a document. She has that, she understands it. And when people come to us with like, hey, I want to write a guest post for you, what about this topic? She'll look at the avatar and be like, this is something our avatar would want to read. And if it's no, she knows how to reply back and say, no, sorry, this doesn't fit. She also has a list of topics that we would never, ever talk about if someone wants to do a guest post with us. So I know, for example, for us, we don't do anything with like gambling or firearms or any predatory type of loans. In case you guys didn't know, if you are doing any type of advertising on your website with Google, I know they typically do not work with brands that have any content regarding firearms or gambling. So something to be mindful of when it comes to, I had to learn that the hard way because I almost didn't get accepted to Mediavine because I had articles where people were writing about some of those things, and I'm like, oh no, 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 I'm not about to miss out on money because of this. So I took those down, and that's something I'm mindful of now. If people want to guest write on my website, so she knows all of those things, and she's checking my email for me on a daily basis, organizing it and responding to people. So yeah, I think your email is important when it comes to making sure that it's still being monitored, even though if you're not there. The other thing that it's good to be mindful of, I mentioned that for social media, I told you that I already have a tool where I'm posting on social media, but being able to respond on social media is also important. So if someone replies to one of your posts and they have a really thoughtful reply, it's good to get an answer to them on a timely basis. Now, I will say, like, if you're only going to be gone for a week, it's probably not, dire that you reply to a social media post. But that's one of those things where, like, I'm going to keep an eye on that myself, or you can find someone who can do that for you. If you have a virtual assistant of any kind who's doing other things, it may be good to train her or him on how to look after your social accounts to see if they can reply to anything, if anything that comes in that looks a little strange. So, for example, sometimes what I'll get, and this is why I watch my email so closely as well as my social media, I have courses. So sometimes people have a problem with their course, like they're having trouble logging into it, or I don't know, they probably want a refund because, they just can't, they don't have the time to take the course, whatever it is. I like to get a timely answer to them. So that's something that I make sure to talk to my team about. And if they don't know how to answer it, or if I'm not available, they know how to get in touch with me in that case. So we don't run into any issues there. So keeping an eye on your email, keep an eye on your social media for responses is pretty important. But what I will say is, if you have the ability to just have internet and check periodically for those type of things, that's important too. You can do that, just making sure that you're keeping an eye on things. And of course, like I get anywhere from 30 to 50 emails a day to my blog email account. So me having someone who's managing that for me makes sense. If you're getting like 1 to 2 emails a week, I think you're okay to not have someone managing your inbox for you. And the same thing when it comes to social media responses. If you're not getting a ton of social media responses, you should be all right. But, play it by ear. I feel like it varies from one blog to the other, obviously, depending on your traffic and how engaged your audience is. So yeah, that's something to be mindful of too. Speaking of your audience, another thing that you want to schedule ahead of time is your newsletter. If you have an email newsletter, it's good to get ahead on that, write it out, whatever it's going to be, and make sure that it's scheduled to go out while you're away. So that's another thing that you can do. For my newsletter, I actually have an RSS feed type newsletter. So any new content that gets published on my site, I send out a weekly post saying, here's the new content, and it goes out. So long as I'm publishing new content on my site, my newsletter will still go out. If you've scheduled your blog post, in this case, if you have an RSS feed newsletter, if you scheduled your blog post already, you should be okay on the newsletter front. If you have a different newsletter where it's not an RSS feed, where you're actually typing out things that's happening with you, then that's something else that you can get ahead and schedule it ahead of time. I used to have a newsletter like that, and that's exactly what I would do before I went on a vacation, is write my newsletter ahead of time, sent it out, and it was ready to go. So, oh my goodness, I feel like I've talked about so much already. So quick recap. Things that you want to do before you leave for some type of trip where you're going to be away from your blog. 1, scheduling out your blog content ahead of time. 2, scheduling out your social media content ahead of time. 3, having someone who's keeping an eye on your website in case anything goes down. I mean, if your site is no longer online or something breaks and people can't access certain content, having some type of website manager to keep an eye on your blog while you're away is helpful. 4, have someone who's looking after your email in case you get anyone who's emailing you about sponsored post opportunities or they have questions for you, having someone watch your email is huge because you don't want to miss out on any type of paid sponsorships or anything like that. So have someone keep an eye on that. Or if you have internet yourself, I think you can probably keep an eye on those things too. Your web, like making sure your website's not down, and also making sure that you're not missing any important emails to your inbox. And then, of course, that's something you can play it by ear, depending on how much traffic you actually get to those channels before you leave. And what else did I talk about? Social media. So having someone keep an eye on your social media account so that if there's anyone who sends a question or comments or anything to you for your social media account, you can see that. And that's something else too. Like if you don't have a ton of traffic, you could probably keep an eye on it yourself, so long as you have internet to watch that on your own. So those are 5 things that I would pay attention to while you're away when it comes to your blog content. Let me know if you have any questions in regard to hiring people for some of the things that I talked about. I know for me, one other thing that I have that needs to be managed in my absence is I have a Facebook group. And in my Facebook group, I have posts that go out on a weekly basis. And then I also am monitoring my Facebook group to see if there are any new members that want to join and approving members' accounts. So that's something else that I'm keeping an eye on. Luckily, I have a virtual assistant who's keeping an eye on that for me too. So I don't have to worry about that part, but that's something else. If you have a group that needs to be managed, figuring out who's going to manage it while you're away. Or what I've seen before, you can archive your group for a few days while you're away. But, depending on the size of your group, you may have trouble doing that. I definitely couldn't do that because I have over 40,000 people in my Facebook group. And I know a lot of people actually depend on those posts to like get traction to their blog posts. So that's another option too. You can archive it for a week if you can't manage it. Okay, so let's go through a couple of questions that's come in so far. Marlene said, how many sessions should we have before getting Amazon affiliate? I don't think there's a limit. I remember when I started my blog, Blogging Money Life, 3 years ago now. So I created my blog. I signed up for Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and Amazon affiliates, and I got approved. So I don't think you need to have a certain amount of sessions before you get Amazon affiliates. What I will say about Amazon affiliates is they'll let anyone in, but if you don't get sales on Amazon affiliates, they'll give you a warning and say like, hey, you haven't made any money. We're going to kick you off in 30 days if you don't make some money. So if you're getting any type of traffic to your website and you are putting affiliate links in your content and you're seeing some income come from those, I think you should be okay. Amazon is probably one of the easiest affiliates to promote. I make money on both my blogs with the Amazon affiliates. And it's just a matter of making sure that you're promoting the right things, you're doing your keyword research ahead of time, and you're finding the things that people want to search for. The thing about affiliates that I feel like isn't as widely known and not talked about enough. The only reason I know this is because of all the affiliate courses I've taken, not necessarily because I've read it in any blog posts that I've found for free. But keyword research is so important when it comes to making money with affiliates. And you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the intent of the keyword before you put it in your article. So for example, let's say that you wanted to write a blog post that lists out different notebooks and you want people to click on the notebook and buy them. Great. If someone is searching for what type of notebooks are best for taking notes, understand what the intent is for someone who's searching for that. Versus, so like someone who says, what type of notebook? If I'm saying what type of notebook, I'm probably on the first stages of my buying cycle. I'm not going to buy a notebook today. I'm probably going to buy a notebook in the next week or so. I'm just doing some preliminary research to figure out what type of notebooks there are out there that I want to buy. I'm interested in buying, but I'm not going to buy today. Versus someone who's saying, which notebook should I have? A Moleskine notebook or an at a glance notebook? That is someone who is at the final stage of their notebook buying. They're going to buy one or the other. So writing a blog post like that, you are more likely to get people who are almost at the finish line for purchasing something. So if you're writing the right type of content, thinking about the intent of the keyword, one, can you rank for that keyword? That's the first thing you want to see. Is that keyword in a place where it's not too competitive, where your site can actually get it and or rank for it, high for that keyword? And then are you getting the right keyword for intent so that you are getting the right people to the keyword? So those are the things to think about. If you keep that in mind, I don't think you can sign up for Amazon affiliate today and be fine. Just make sure that you are thinking about the intent of those keywords. Something else that's really cool about SEMrush is if you do keyword research on their website, what they'll do is they'll show you the intent. So they'll say, is this for commercial, like someone's buying it? They'll say if it's for information, which information pretty much means like they're not going to spend any money. They're looking because they just need to know. They need to know what this thing is. It can be transactional. And I think transactional is more like when you see a search term like login page for whatever that tool is. They're not looking for you. They're looking for a specific page, and like you have people wasting their time if you're trying to rank for that keyword going to your site. And there's one more. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, SEMrush will actually tell you the intent. And you can sort by intent too. Like I only want people who are about to buy something, and they'll show you all the keywords for the intent to buy. And I think you can see this to a degree in the free version too. So it's something to check out for SEMrush, because the intent of the keyword is probably the most important part when it comes to making money with affiliates. So hopefully that answers your question. Arlene says, I hired college students to work for me because that's all I can afford. Oh, Arlene, believe it or not, that's exactly what I did when I first started. I had interns who were free. And what I did is I would incentivize them with bonuses and payments for different tasks they did. So if we hit a specific goal that we were working towards when it came to traffic or income, I would give them a bonus, which is great for them because they were hungry and they knew that they can bring some money in depending on their efforts. And then if they wrote blog content for me, I had a regular cycle where each of my interns were writing a certain blog post and I paid them a flat fee for those blog posts. And if their blog posts earned affiliate income, I would pay them a percentage of whatever I made from the affiliate income. And then probably one of the most lucrative things for my interns is I paid them by, what's it called? Sponsored posts. So sponsored posts at the time is where I was making most of my money, because I can make anywhere from $500 to $2,000 for a single blog post. And sometimes I would be swamped because I'm working on three other blog posts myself. So I'll get my interns to write the content, especially if they've been writing for me for a while and they've really developed as writers. I'll have them write the sponsored posts. I'll have whatever the free product is that we're getting, I'll have it sent to their house. And then I would give them a portion of the sponsored posts. And that was huge as far as like getting people to help me with things that I need help with. My typical rate in regard to sponsored posts that I had my interns do for me, I paid them 30%, which was pretty significant when you're talking about an article that's $500 to $2,000. So they would get 30% of whatever I made for a sponsored post. And they were aware of that. So they kept that in mind. Sometimes they'd even pitch brands on behalf of the website to bring in more income. So those are some tips. Instead of paying like a flat fee for interns, you can pay them in different ways. I love the motto of paying people based on how much income they bring in for me. And that made it so much easier for me to be able to hire more people and eventually get to a point where I could pay people on an hourly basis or whatever. I just don't want to get kicked off Amazon. Yeah, that's true. But I'm telling you, that's the only thing you need to know. If you can find the right keywords for people who are going to buy something, you're set. Let's see here. I still need to take making sense of affiliate marketing. Man, I mentioned before that blog course is old. Old. Like I bought that course over a decade ago and took that course and it was great. And then I took it again recently and it was still very relevant. I was very surprised at how relevant it was. And then I know Michelle, she is also adding new chapters to it from time to time. So there's still some benefits there what was I going to say? To taking the course. She's really good at what she does. Oh, thank you. Great idea about a percentage of income for them. Yeah, because they make money for you and they're making money too. So I like that. I like that a lot. Yep, I'll keep that in mind. I may need to start doing sponsored posts. How do I get into that? I mean, you're a big timer on Pinterest now, so that's a huge benefit that you can share when it comes to sponsored posts. To get into it, I think all you need to do is make sure you have the blogging basics ready to go. And blogging basics mean you have a contact us page on your website, you have a work with me page on your website, you have a media kit. So having a media kit ready to go so you can send it to people for sponsorships. You know what to price for your blog. I actually have a little toolkit that I sell for $20. And it has a pricing calculator. So you just put in your blog data and it'll tell you how much you should be charging for blog posts, for sponsored emails, for sponsored social media posts, for videos, whatever. It's all in there. You just plug it into the calculator and you're all set. It's probably one of the best things I created today, and I use it all the time for my blog. But anyway, that's something that you can use to figure out your pricing. And then once you do that, you just send out pitches. You find brands that try to look for brands you already use and the ones that you love and reach out to them, send them a picture of your tool and what you love about it and why you want to talk about it on your blog because you feel like your audience would also love it. And my favorite sponsored opportunities, my favorite ones are the ones I find through my affiliate channels. So I don't know if you're on Commission Junction or CJ.com yet, but what's great about CJ.com is they're huge, right? Like there's a ton of different companies that do their affiliate marketing through CJ. But they have the email addresses for all the affiliate managers in Commission Junction. So you can send them an email directly. And I love doing sponsorships where they pay me a flat fee to do some type of editorial blog post, and I get affiliate commissions for all the sales that I make. So I love taking those and doing brand sponsorships that way because they're quite lucrative. Them having an affiliate channel on Commission Junction already shows that they are incentivized to work with different influencers. And if there's a brand in CJ that you've used before and you're already an affiliate for them, send them an email and pitch them. Something else I do in CJ is they have a section where you can put in an offer. So I do this every year. I'll put in an offer saying like, I'm doing my annual gift guide. Reply, let me know if you're interested in doing the gift guide. And I'll say how much it costs to be in the gift guide. You have to send me a sample of the product. And then after I post it in Commission Junction, I go through there, find all the email addresses for the brands that I want to be in my gift guide. And then I pitch them in an email as well. So that's one way to get into it. And one of my favorite ways too. You can make so much money, especially during the holiday season. I usually start that around this time, September, October, I start pitching for my gift guide for December. So yeah. So I've invested so much money into this blog and I'm so embarrassed. I've made $0. That's okay. The fact that you're investing into it just shows that you really want it to work. And if you keep taking the right steps like you have been, your Pinterest account is is going up, you'll start to see the benefits, especially when you get on Mediavine, and you just figure out that hustle. You'll be good. Oh, drop that in the chat, please. Oh yeah, Commission Junction for sure. It's really easy. It's called CJ.com, and it's just an affiliate network. I don't know if you're in any affiliate networks yet, but this is probably one of my favorite affiliate networks that I like, because there's a lot of popular brands that you've heard of, and they're just so organized. Like, I'm a part of some other affiliate networks, and there aren't a whole lot where they give you the email address of the affiliate manager. So that part is, that part alone is very valuable. But I also like that they have a sponsorship section. Like, they encourage sponsorships, and they quite often, something that CJ will do is they'll send out emails saying like, hey, here are some brands that are interested in doing sponsorships. Reach out to them if you want to do a sponsorship deal with them. So CJ is a great platform. Highly recommend. Let's see here. So I added that, cj.com. Where do I find the brands? You can start on the affiliate network. I don't know if you're in any others, but like affiliate networks. Here, I'll just show you really quick. This is what CJ looks like. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. So when you log into cj.com, this is what you have. This is the dashboard. And you see here, they have some advertisers that they recommend. They have new ones that have joined. Of course, there's some ones you recognize, like HP. That's a pretty popular one. CJ, that's them. KitchenAid Canada. Like, there's a bunch here. It'll show me like what happened yesterday. So apparently I got 99 clicks, 1 impression on my site. I can look at this month and see how things are going. I haven't made any sales, but I'm getting a ton of clicks, lots of impressions. And then something I was telling you about is, let's see, where is it at? Reports, campaigns. Here we go. So yeah, if you go to campaigns and then you go to placements, they have opportunities. And under opportunities, what's great is this is where you can pretty much say, I'm doing a sponsored post. Here's my flat fee. So see, I have one here. I haven't done this since 2021 as far as putting this in, because since I've done this, I have brands that just reach out to me every year now. So they're used to me doing this, and I just don't do it anymore, because now my brands just reach out to me like, hey, Jasmine, it's that time of year again. We want to do a blog post with you. So you can put information in here. Hey, I want to do a sponsored post. Here's my name. Here's my email address. Here's the cost of what it's going to cost. And yeah, let me know if you're interested. So you can do that in here, and it's pretty cool. So that's called a placement. And then the way that they pay you is through an insertion order. So that's what the IOs are here. And they'll send you an insertion order pretty much saying like, okay, here's how much we're going to pay you, blah, 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 blah. So I have all my advertiser contacts. I have stuff that people pay me. It's all there. So yeah, and eventually you get to a point where they just reach out to you directly and they pay you through your PayPal or whatever. But this is a really good place to find people to do sponsorship deals. And there are literally so many advertisers. I just showed you a small portion of them. These are just the ones that are recommended. But if I go to, let's see here, advertisers, I can go to find advertisers. And when you're on this advertising page, you just pick the advertisers that you want to work with. And if you want to work with them, you just hit apply to program, and then sometimes they approve you automatically. Sometimes you have to, they'll look at it and see if you are good for the job, and good to work with them, and then they'll approve you from there. But yeah, a lot of brands, just a ton. It can be overwhelming, but you have the ability to, if you want to like search by category, just based on your blog, you have the ability to do that. You can go by serviceable area and say, I just want to focus on the United States. That's fine. Like advertisers, country, currency, like there's so much stuff you can filter by. And I told you how like you have access to their contact information. So for example, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, I'm just going to look at this. So you see here, I'm not even a member for this company, by the way. And what's cool is I can see the name of the company. I can see the contact, Steve Zetto. I see Steve's email address. So even though I'm not an affiliate, I can just grab his email address right now and send him an email saying like, hey, I want to um, do a sponsor post with 1-800-GOT-JUNK. What do you got for me? So this is why I love Commission Junction. I think they're legit, and it doesn't cost anything to join this. Like, you're a publisher, you sign up as a publisher, and it's free. It's perfectly free for you to do. They want you there because they want you to work with the brands, and the brands here are hungry because they want to make affiliate income with different brands. They want to get exposure with different publishers like yourself. So if you're not on any affiliate networks, you definitely need to be on CJ.com. So hopefully that's helpful. I hope so. Can we market sponsor posts on Pinterest? Yes, absolutely you can. I do that to drive more traffic to my blog posts or Pinterest. But also I'll tell them in my media kit, like, hey, if you want me to do a Pinterest post for you, I get this much traffic on my Pinterest account, and it's going to cost this much money for me to post on my Pinterest account to promote your brand. So yeah, you can definitely market your sponsor posts on Pinterest. And I know a lot of people who they don't even link affiliates to their blog. They just take different affiliates from places like this, create a really cute pin, and then share it on Pinterest. And when people click on the link on Pinterest, it takes them straight to the affiliate. So you're still getting paid. The only thing is, I think for some of these, you have to disclose that to them that I'm going to be promoting these affiliate links somewhere not on my blog. I'm going to be promoting on Pinterest, and they'll give you the okay if that's all right or not. And some people, that's not okay with them. It just depends. It depends on the brand. Larry says, I make a ton of gift guides. Let me start that. It's huge. Like, I highly recommend using CJ.com. Can you drop your sponsored post guide in the chat? I want to buy. Oh, yes, of course. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Hold on a second. Let me grab the link for it. But yes, I highly recommend. If not, I also have in my sponsored post kit, I have the calculator so you can figure out how much you should charge for sponsored posts. I also have email templates so you can use those to pitch brands. And then I have a proposal document that you can customize to say, like, here's a proposal, here's everything I'm going to do for you. That's all there. And I have a video that shows you how to use all the information. And I can't remember what else is in the kit, but it's pretty affordable. And it makes it easy for you to get into pitching brands pretty quickly. And then use that on top of the CJ tool, like you're set. So let me grab that for you. One moment. The Sponsor Post Pricing Toolkit. That's what it's called. Copy. Here is a link to my Sponsor Post Pricing Toolkit. Uh-oh. Hi, I'm back. Sorry. Lord, I don't know what happened there. But I want to give you guys a link to my sponsor post pricing toolkit. And I'll probably do that after I jump off because I think my internet's being strange. So yeah, I will put that in there. I see you had another question, Lurleen. So can we hire another writer to write the posts? Yeah, you absolutely can. The only thing is, I feel like for a lot of sponsored posts, one part that's important is making sure that they take pictures of the product itself. So I don't know if you want to get the product and take pictures yourself, but it also makes it hard for them to write about it if they haven't actually experienced the product. So that can be a little bit more challenging. I haven't done that specifically. I only do that with people I trust to send them something, someone who's written articles for me before that I know they're dependable. So that's the only thing I would say about that is you want to be mindful of people you can trust, because I've definitely been in situations where I've sent product to people that I didn't know that well, and they just kept the product and never wrote the blog post. But yeah, the product piece of it is important because you want to make sure that you have that ready to go to have a good article. Let's see here. Good question. JJ says, suggestion, if you could add the topic at the end of the YouTube title, at the end of the monthly feed, it's always great info. Thank you. Really good idea. I really need to go through and just put that in all my Q&A so you know what topics I'm talking about, because I feel like I share good information, but they all look the same in regards to the title. So good call, JJ. Anyway, good call. I think there were some really good questions in this month. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, I'm going to share my link to my sponsor post pricing toolkit. I'm afraid to open anything else up in case it breaks my computer for some reason. But thanks so much for being on. Wait 5 minutes after I get off this call, and I'll make sure to get the link to the sponsor post pricing toolkit to you guys in the chat. So thanks so much. JJ says, see you next month. See you next month, JJ. I will see you guys soon. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.